Despite the Obama administration's email dump on Benghazi talking points, emails that show a critical 2-day gap, Senator Robert Menendez says he's seen enough. He criticized fellow lawmakers who say not enough has been done to investigate that scandal.
We have fully vetted this issue. We have held hearing after hearing. We have, on both sides, had the opportunity to have our questions answered. Our focus now should not be on the work product of the CIA or state on draft talking points we've seen in hundreds of emails released by the White House yesterday.
Well, joining us now, Congressman Ted Poe, who's on the Judiciary Committee, Foreign Affairs Committee as well, also an executive member of the Immigration Reform Caucus, former prosecutor, former judge. Good to have you with us, Congressman.
Good to talk to you, Lou.
First, if you heard Senator Menendez, your reaction to what he had to say today?
Well, obviously they don't want all of the evidence. When I was a judge, we always wanted in the courtroom all of the evidence before we made a decision. So what the White House has done is take the 67 hours of the most important emails and hidden those from the American public, and they give us emails that really don't say a whole lot. Kind of reminds me of the old Nixon days when Richard Nixon hid on his tape the most important 30 seconds. And so we want to see the 67 hours of emails that went back and forth from everybody, CIA, State Department, and the White House.
Yeah, this is precisely what, going back to the Watergate era, John Ehrlichman and Robert Haldeman called a modified limited hangout. It is a propaganda, it is a public relations maneuver, no more than that, and likely one assumes to fail, but there are a lot of skeletons dancing in this administration right now. It's at times hard to imagine that they've gotten this far with this clumsy a handling of issues so important.
Well, no question about it. Lots of bungling in Benghazi. And we even have the current Secretary of State saying, I don't want to come down here and testify all year about Benghazi. Well, no kidding. They don't want us to know exactly what's taken place. So, you know, I'm chairman of the Terrorism Subcommittee. I think it'd be a good time for us to bring in General Petraeus and see what he has to say about all of these emails and the missing emails in the final report that we got from the White House.
Well, and Thomas Pickering, Michael Mullen on the Accountability Review Board didn't talk to the Secretary of State. This is a monumental lapse of judgment. It is at best and at worst a massive cover-up on the part of this administration. Do you have the power to get to the truth? Because it's clear that it's clear, it seems to me at least, that leaving that 67-hour gap, as you defined it, suggests there's no contrition and there's every effort going to be made to hang on to as much of the incriminating emails as they possess.
We do have the power. In fact, not just my subcommittee, but the full Foreign Affairs Committee, the Judiciary Committee, Homeland Security Committee, all of us are working on this issue of Benghazi. We are going to find out exactly what happened in spite of the stonewalling by the administration. The only thing we know the administration did clean up was the word Al-Qaeda. They don't want us using that phrase, and they cleaned that out of the emails. But other than that, we want to get the rest of the emails.
We're over time here, Congressman. I want to ask you something. We've just received information from Chad Pergram, one of our senior producers in Washington, that Congressman John Carter says there is an agreement in principle now in the House of Representatives on immigration legislation. Can you enlighten us on that?
Well, your information is correct, as far as I know, that there was an agreement made by those that have been working in the House on a bipartisan basis for several years to a structure of how to move forward with legislation. That's really all I know. Judge Carter is one of those individuals working on this, and so there is progress. The House has to take the lead. We need to move forward. Republicans especially need to lead on this issue. We can solve these numerous issues.
And this development comes as we learn that the so-called Gang of Eight Both the House and the Senate have a gang of 8, but the Senate gang of 8 has apparently reached an impasse on the issue of illegal immigrants under whatever legislation results, receiving affordable care benefits. So we will see what the next development is. Congressman Ted Poe, good to have you with us. And we're going to have much more on the Benghazi and other scandals that have this White House on defense. The A-Team coming right up.